The island of Flores sits off the coast of Indonesia and, in 2003, claimed the world's attention when remains of humans, just 1.1 metres tall, were found in one of its caves, and promptly reported in the mainstream media as real-life hobbits. Partial remains of 9 skeletons were found, with just one complete skull, and have been dated from between 100,000 to 60,000 years ago. It was originally thought that the hobbits were descended from a population of Homo erectus that had arrived on Flores about 1 million years ago. Homo erectus are the last common ancestor between us and Neanderthals, and were the first hominids to spread out away from Africa, so it makes sense that they could have found their way to Flores. However, recent studies suggest Homo florensis could have had much more ancient ancestry, as the wrist bones, arms, shoulders and lower limbs are much more like other apes than modern humans. Because of this, more recent interpretations place Homo florensis as a sister species to Homo habilis. The most valuable source of information on Homo florensis is the type specimen LB1. This is the remains of a 30-year-old female, also known as the Little Lady of Flores, and includes a single skull found. She would have weighed just 25 kilograms and had a cranial capacity, space for the brain inside the skull, of 426 centimeters cubed. Compare that to Homo sapiens' cranial capacity of 1,300 centimeters cubed, and you can see why there are questions about how intelligent the hobbits could have really been. But they were found with evidence of stone tools, cut marks on their prey's bones indicative of butchering, and even fire. These two facts may seem conflicting, but an explanation may lie in the prefrontal cortex, often seen as an indicator of intelligence. Remarkably, LB1's prefrontal cortex is about the same size as that of modern humans, which seems to explain how they possess such intelligence with such a small brain. Still, controversy has followed Homo florensis, as its brain is so small it seems implausible. Theories have been proposed for the type specimen not being a separate species, but a Homo sapien with everything from microcephaly, Laron syndrome, endemic cretinism and Down syndrome, in order to explain the reduced brain size. However, none of these theories have ever been fully proved, and the general consensus continues to point to a separate species that had undergone island dwarfism. The hobbits were not an isolated species though, and the world they inhabited was almost as much out of a fantasy novel as the hobbits themselves. To start with, island gigantism had worked its magic on the Flores giant rat. Clue is in the title. This beast is still alive today and reaches a length of 1.1 metres from head to tail. It's twice the size of a modern brown rat, but more importantly, that length of 1.1 metres puts it on equal standing with the hobbits. Gross. In order to survive on Flores, evidence suggests the hobbit ate a relative of the elephant, which seems remarkable for someone 3 feet tall, until you remember that we're talking about an island. That elephant was 1.2 metres high. In fact, there were multiple species of dwarf elephant on the island through its history. Stegodon sondari originally swam out to the island and lived around 900,000 years ago. These were just 1.2 metres high and would have weighed 300 kilograms. However, about 850,000 years ago, Stegodon florensis appeared on the island. This elephant wasn't a dwarf yet and weighed 850 kilograms, but quickly evolved into Stegodon florensis insularis, another dwarf species that lived until about 12,000 years ago. Stegodons wouldn't have just fed Homo florensis though. The still extant Komodo Dragon would have also fed on the elephants before modern humans arrived on the island and brought with them its regular prey. Komodo dragons grow to a length of 3 metres, which would have probably have been a bit of a scary encounter for the hobbits. However, the two have more in common than originally thought. The dragons themselves may also be island dwarfs, as their now extinct relative, Magellania, lived on the Australian mainland and grew to a length of 5.5 metres, indicating the Komodo dragon may be a midget variety of what it once was. This is bizarre, but it might not be it for Flores. The Matamenga site contains many bones that appear to be from a hominid even smaller than Florensis, and that could be its ancestor. The bones were found in 2014, and hopefully future discoveries will help paint an even clearer and shorter picture of the inhabitants of Flores. If you want to know more about island dwarfism and giganticism, I've made videos on those things that I'll link here, and if you're subscribed, I'm afraid you'll start seeing few videos from me. I'll still be uploading, but the hectic part of my summer is dawning, and then I have no gap between a fieldwork trip and being back at uni, so I'm sorry if you see less of me. I hope you enjoyed this anyway though, and hopefully I'll be back soon.